Okay, take two. Welcome back. There are quite a few people in the house at the moment, so if you hear some noises in the background, do not panic. Also, I've just realised that someone's put up pictures there, so those of you who are bothered by the little picture hooks, you don't have to worry anymore. Fantastic. Okay, so last week I did a little bit of the first section of my philodendron collection. It was very much like smaller plants, less mature plants, single leaf cuttings, things like that. And I'm going to move it on to the next section of my collection, which is slightly more mature plants. They're not the biggest that I've got in my collection, but they're definitely plants that are expressing more mature leaf forms. And to me, they're some of the most exciting to watch just because they put out more growth. And there are more leaves to look at, and I enjoy that. And there's nothing really more exciting than getting a really small plant and watching it become something big. And there are a few of these I've had since they were tiny, tiny plants. Okay, so on this grey morning in the UK, let's look at some tropical plants to make ourselves feel better, shall we? Getting started, this is one of the plants that I'm not currently keeping in a greenhouse, so it's probably kept at around 40–50% humidity, just whatever naturally is happening in the UK on that day inside a house, so it's slightly buffered compared to the outdoors. It is doing very well. It's put out one leaf in that space and it's got another one on the way. This is the Philodendron mame. It is one of those interesting plants similar to like the Palmanii or the Sodoroi, in that it has those kind of silver markings on the leaves, quietly deeply indented. Could definitely do with a little dust. Let's pretend we didn't see anything there. But it's doing really, really well, and it's like such a... really doesn't need any help at all. It just does its thing. Water it every 2 weeks at the moment, and it's pretty happy. Obviously there are some leaves that were slightly battered from shipping like this one, but the new ones that have come through since I got it, these two, super happy. And it's quickly becoming one of my slightly larger philos, despite the fact that it was pretty small when I got it. So that's exciting. Let's take it on quite swiftly to one of my very favourites. I got this as a very small plant, so this is one of those one of the two that was really, really tiny when I got it and has done a lot of growing with me. This is my Philodendron pseudoverrucosum. That is not 100% confirmed, but from every bit of research I've done about it, that is the plant that it looks like it is. Definitely not a normal verrucosum, could be another variant, but from what I've seen, I think it's a pseudo. So, it started as 3 or 4 little leaves when I got it, and look at it now. So this is the latest leaf. It's absolutely massive. The greenhouse really helped it grow, especially like if you just compare, it's not too much bigger than that one, but there's something a lot chunkier and kind of heartier about it. I think the humidity's just helped a lot with that. And then right here we've got a new one, which is already almost longer than that leaf, and it hasn't even fully emerged from the sheath yet, which is exciting. I love it. It's been such a satisfying grower. I have not had to repot it at all yet. I've taken it out a couple of times to check on the roots, and they've always been very, very healthy. So I'm just leaving it in there. It's growing some magnificent aerial roots now that it's in the greenhouse. It really wasn't growing any at all outside. I think the humidity was just, even at 60–70% with the humidifier, was just a little bit too low. So now that it's in that like 90% all the time, it is a happy plant. And it's definitely one of my favourites. Yeah, just because how like, oh, it's so nice having watched it grow. Anyway, moving on. So that is number 2. We've got 8 plants total here, so we're going to breeze through them quite quickly. Number 3 is another one that was tiny when I got it. Probably leaves maybe as long as my thumb, maybe as long as this finger, I don't know. A couple of them are still on there. So let's go. This is my Philodendron billeti. Yeah. And it is getting big. Ignore the pot, it's ugly. I just didn't have any like spare nice ones to put it in. But the leaves are getting so, so nice. This isn't even fully hardened yet, this leaf. And it's almost as big as the one that came out before. So it's doing pretty well. It's a fun plant. It's got those kind of orange petioles. It's got a very weird growth pattern, kind of a very short internodal space, and not very many aerial roots yet. So it sort of stays quite squat, which is nice because it means you get this kind of big, I don't know what that looks like, just like thing sticking out. It's like a thing coming out of the pot rather than a climbing, vining plant, so it stays a little bit more compact, which is fun. Yeah, these leaves, these tiny ones, were the ones it came with, and it's gradually just gotten bigger, like here, and then bigger, like here, and hopefully this one will get even bigger than that, and it already has another one on the way, which is fabulous. So yeah, this is another one, slightly bigger one, Philodendron bitter. Love it. Moving on. Where can I put you? Let's put you down here. Make some space. Okay, this one has literally just fallen over, and that is because it has been leant up against the wall of my greenhouse for the past month and a half or so. So it's not used to holding up its own weight, sadly. I'm going to have a look at the potting medium. It's sort of lifted out as it's grown. Lots of healthy roots there, I can see. This is Gloriosum, my smaller one. I have a huge chunky one that some of you have seen before. But this is a really nice one. It actually was a gift to my partner, and I still have not given it to him, so we're just pretending it's mine still. Yeah, it's very happy. I don't really know what to say about it. I've said a lot about Gloriosum before. There's like that really nice velvety texture to the leaves, quite strong venation that gets a bit more prominent with age. And the only thing that's sort of interesting about this particular plant is that the petioles are flattened at the top, which I've not seen, well, my other Gloriosum isn't like that, but I'm assuming that's just sort of general variation within the species, so it's nothing too interesting. It's just fun to see how like the plasticity of a species, it kind of just, they do whatever they want, which is nice, because it means that no single plant is the same, and literally as I'm holding it, it's falling further and further. I promise you it's not broken, it's just in sphagnum and there's nothing really to hold it up. So I will prop it up after this video. Let's put him down without breaking him. Ah! Literally just lifting out of the pot. Okay, that's great. I probably should have checked on that before just taking it out and sticking it in the video. Moving on. This is another one that looks very similar to the Gloriosum, but is a little bit prettier. It is struggling a bit. As winter hits, it's losing a lot of its leaves that it grew last year, as you can see from this random petiole. Can we pull it off? No, it's not coming yet. But it's also putting out some amazing new leaves. That like deep red, lovely, luxurious velvetiness. This is the Luxurians Choco, or the Choco Red, and very similar to Verrucosum in a lot of ways. It's got sort of like, it's like a cross between it seems like a cross between Gloriosum and Verrucosum, and then it has that kind of, the shape of the Gloriosum that you just saw, but then on most of the leaves, not this one for some reason, but it has a really intense red backing, which is just like amazing. And yeah, the new leaves come through in this bright red sheath, which is gorgeous. And it's just a very interesting plant, and another one that is loving the increased humidity. Despite that leaf loss, its aerial roots are going crazy. And yeah, when I've taken it out, its roots have been doing pretty well in there. Even just digging slightly into the medium, I can see those bright red healthy roots. Yeah, all is well there. So once those couple of leaves that are yellowing, this one too, fall off, it will be fine. It will be more than happy. And very easy to look after. So if you're looking for a interesting, exciting, but easy to care for philo, I would say this is a great one. Yeah. Good. There's another one. Right, we have 2 plants left. Let's go for the fun, easiest one of all of these. This one again is outside of my greenhouse. Does not care about the lower humidity. Is just growing, chucking out aerial roots as if it's like in 90%, even though it's in, like I said, like 40-50. This is the Florida Ghost. Yeah, gorgeous. It just recently lost that one white leaf that it had, but it still has a lot of variation in the colouring. So it's got those like dark green leaves that it started with, and then these sort of more yellowy leaves that are very new, and then those lime leaves that are sort of half darkened. It's just such a satisfying plant because it grows as ferociously as like an ordinary non-variegated philodendron, but it has the added excitement of these kind of pale leaves that come through, so it feels like it's variegated. It feels like it's something a little bit interesting and exciting. And it is. So this, I'm they're a lot easier to find than they were when I got this one. They're all over eBay. Most sellers sell them. So if you find one, if you can find one, go for it, because they will definitely reward you. And at some point, unless I can find a place to stick this, I will cut it. So I might give away a couple of cuttings at some point. Yeah, I love it. Such a satisfying plant. Right, we're going to finish on a slightly sadder note. How are we doing? Yeah, we're good. This is a plant that I've had probably about the same length of time as some of these others, who is more or less the same. That Florida Ghost, probably. I've had them about the same amount of time. But this plant has done basically nothing. It put through one leaf that was really badly damaged with some kind of weird, I don't know if it was a fungus, a bacteria. It's still on there, so I'll show you what it looks like. It has had 2 leaves that have died before they've emerged, and it has currently got another one on the way. I don't know what's wrong with it. I've taken it out, I've checked its roots. They're all like white and beautiful and pearly and soft, growing through the moss and the substrate, but it is not doing the growing things that I would expect from it. I may just have got the conditions slightly wrong. So this is my Patricii, which, if you've not seen a mature form, is just one of the most incredible philodendron. I'm really, really loving the sort of strap leaf philodendrons at the moment. Obviously there's this one, and I've got that Heterocraspedon, which I showed you last time, and then a little bit less, but still in the same kind of world. I recently ordered the philodendron bicolor, which I'll show you another week, which has also got those kind of long strap-like leaves. And then obviously Billitai, really, really incredible. So it's not the happiest plant. It's kind of done nothing for a while. It's not too wet. It's not like that wet in the substrate. I will take it out after this because it's been a couple of weeks since I looked at the roots. But it has got a new shoot coming through there, so fingers crossed that one survives, because the other ones have not. They've all just kind of gotten just before that point, so a little bit smaller, and then rotted and fallen off, and I really don't understand why. But this one is looking quite healthy, so hopefully we'll be good with that. Even though it's a finicky little so-and-so, it is still one of my favourites. Like, I just love watching it exist in my space, even if it's not doing anything in particular. I have seen them off for sale. They don't quite come very cheap, but if you can get one that is a happy grower, then I'm sure it'll be worth it. I can't wait for this to get into its rhythm. And yeah, someone on Instagram who got their Patricii at the same time as me, hers is like exploded, and mine's just kind of sat there, this little squat creature. That was the leaf that came through, just very crumpled, and I don't know if you can see in this light, but there's like a fully green part of the leaf where I'm assuming the chlorophyll is like in the normal concentrations, and then there's this part of the leaf which is almost like translucent, still green. There must still be chlorophyll in there, but it's not, yeah, it's very patchy. I don't know what to do with it. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. I will try anything to make it happy. And because it wasn't a cheap plant, and it's really not doing very much. But there you go. So there are some more of my philodendrons, some slightly larger plants. I will definitely do a greenhouse tour at some point, but as you can see from the size of these plants, it's quite a small greenhouse. It's basically just a mass of leaves in there, so it's quite hard to show you exactly what's going on. It will take me, I'll just have a think about how I'm going to do it. I might take the cover off, whatever, we'll think about it. But if you have any suggestions for other videos you'd like to see, I'm thinking about doing a little bit of keki paste, I don't know how to pronounce it, experimentation, which is like that, we'll talk about it when I do the video, but it's stimulates growth in nodes and plants and orchids and arrows and all the things. So I've recently ordered some of that. I'm going to be experimenting with it, and I will maybe do a video about the results. We shall see. Thank you very much for watching. As usual, if you want to see some updates on these plants and my other plants, go follow my Instagram at slugplants and subscribe to my channel to see more videos, to see more of me and my plants. And there is a bell icon. You can hit that if you want to be notified when my videos come up. Thank you very much. Hope you have an amazing day, and enjoy your plants. Bye!